Donald Jiminy Trump. Trump is basically the ex that America kicked out for throwing an open house party at the Capitol. And like many exes, he rarely wants a second chance. But instead of promising to do better next time, he's threatening to do even worse.
Former President Trump returned to the campaign trail, so to speak, in Texas last night. And during this rally, Trump said he would consider pardoning those prosecuted for attacking the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly.
Trump also urged his supporters to hold massive protests in cities like New York, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C. if prosecutors investigating him in those cities bring charges against him.
If these radical, vicious, racist prosecutors do anything wrong or illegal, I hope we are going to have in this country the biggest protest we have ever had. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you. And I just happen to be the person that's in the way.
Yo. Oh, man, Donald Trump is the greatest con man of all time. Did you hear everything this guy said? Everything he said. I mean, part of it was like the racist person. Who are they racist to? Who is racist in this thing to Donald Trump? Huh? And if you think about it, like, it's really smart what he's saying, because he could have pardoned all of his people when January 6th happened. You realize that, right? He was the president, but he didn't pardon them. He let them get prosecuted, and now they're all going to jail. He let this happen. But now that his ass is on the line, now he's like, man, if I was president, I'd have never let this happen to you. But you did. It's like some dirtbag being like, let me tell you something. If you were my girl, but I'm your wife. Yeah, but if you were my girl, this shit wouldn't have happened, baby. You gotta admit, Trump leans on his supporters really hard. I mean, first, they had to storm the Capitol because he lost the election. Then their donations went to his legal fees because he's always getting sued. Now they have to protest if he gets charged? Like, where does it end? If Trump does go to prison, is he gonna make these poor people smuggle cigarettes up their butts? They're worth more unopened, so make sure you get the whole carton up in there. And don't clench, it'll squish the filters. Anyway, moving on from Donald Trump to posh Donald Trump, Boris Johnson. The British Prime Minister, and guy who starts every morning sticking a fork in an electrical outlet, has been in quite a spot of bother lately, which means it's time for another installment of Keep Calm and Party On.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson just apologized to Parliament after a damning independent report was released this morning, which condemns, quote, failures of leadership and judgment by Johnson's office over those parties at 10 Downing Street held during COVID lockdowns.
The government being scolded like children. The report says there were serious failures to observe the high standards. It says that excessive alcohol shouldn't be drunk at the workplace. It repeatedly describes a culture of drinking and partying. Boris Johnson was back in Parliament to try to justify the unjustifiable.
Mr. Speaker, I get it. And I will fix it. And I want to say to the people of this country, I know what the issue is. Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes. It's whether this government can be trusted to deliver. And I say, Mr. Speaker, yes, we can be trusted. Yes, we can be trusted to deliver.
Love how he's like, I identify the problem. I know what yeah, you made the problem. Of course you know what the problem is. Well, guys, I've solved it because I did it. But yes, according to this investigation, Boris Johnson's office had a culture of drinking and partying throughout the pandemic. And I'll be honest, I'd be more convinced that Boris could fix it if he didn't always look like an upside-down guy doing a keg stand. I've got to say, my favorite part about this whole scandal is actually how high school it is to get caught having a party. I mean, think about it. That's the level of scandal. Other world leaders are staging coups and invading other countries. Meanwhile, Boris is filling vodka bottles up with water like, hurry, hurry, the Queen will be home soon.